WWE released a lot of wrestlers during the pandemic, and it wasn't even all shite wrestlers either. Some of these wrestlers easily could have gone on to be the face of the company, world champions, etc, etc. So it got me thinking, could you run a successful wrestling promotion using only wrestlers who've been released from WWE since the start of the pandemic? Yeah, easily. But could you put WWE out of business with that promotion? That's what we're going to try to do in this video. I'm only using wrestlers who haven't since signed in another company, and we're starting in July. The goal is to put WWE out of business by the time WrestleMania comes around. So, yeah. So, I think we'll call it, fuck WWE. We're going to give us all the same prestige and money that WWE have just to make it fair, make it even. We're even going to have the same PG product that they have. We're going to beat them at their own game. Right, so before we start, I think we'll have a look at our franchise players. Franchise players are the stars most closely associated with fuck WWE, the wrestlers from the main event scene. It is they who most of the fans came to see. They are in essence the face of the company. Below is a list showing who the creative team think are the best of the FWWE best, the ones who should be the focus of the company. 1. Samoa Joe. Yeah, that's fair enough, you know, a really good wrestler, massive name, you know, free agent, makes sense. Chris Hero, incredibly versatile, you know, has a lot to offer in the ring at all times. I fully agree. Braun Strowman, you know, has a lot of power, a lot of strength that no one else brings. I understand that. Mojo Rawley, right. So here's how things stand at the minute. WWE are number 1. That's to be expected at the minute. I understand it. We are number 15 and we're labelled as insignificant. Well, we'll see who's insignificant by the end of this then, won't we? Roman Reigns is apparently being a massive flop, so that obviously works in our favour. Natalya and Tyson Kidd got divorced. The Dark Order has split up. Powerhouse Hobbs got kicked out with Team Taz. And NWA Power only had 95 fans at it, which I thought was pretty crazy when I first read it. And then I realised that in real life, they only have 25 to 30 fans at their latest show. But now it's time for our first event as a company. And it's Money in the Bank. It would be Money in the Bank, but for copyright reasons, we have to just adjust it slightly. The main event is obviously going to be the Money in the Bank ladder match. But before we get to that, we're going to have qualifiers all throughout the night. First of all, Chris Hero beats No Way Jose. Samoa Joe beats Mojo Rawley. Buddy Murphy beats Vanessa Bourne. Ruby Riott beats Aiden English. Kalisto beats Jessamine Duke. And Braun Strowman loses to Lana. So those are the qualifiers that sort of flesh out the night. And before we get into the main event, Aleister Black pops up on screen and he says, if you want to fight me, knock on the door and I will fight you, and that's what's going to happen. Then we have our main event, and the winner of the Money in the Bank ladder match is of course Kalisto, because he is the flippiest, and those are the rules. Flippiest always wins the ladder match. Chris Hero was off his game, which is very unfortunate. It stopped the Chris Hero versus No Way Jose match from being the 5-star classic everyone expected it to be. The fans came to see the male competitors, and so we're not happy to see Vanessa Bourne. And not only were they not happy to see Vanessa Bourne, they weren't happy to see Lana, they weren't happy to see Ruby Riott. In my defense, how was I meant to know the crowd are going to be mad sexist? Either way, we get to make a speech afterwards, so we're going to tell Samoa Joe, Vanessa Bourne and Lana that we love them. And they seem pretty happy with that. I tried a bit of sign warfare, not going to lie. I tried distributing signs during our show to take the piss out of WWE and make them look like nerds. It didn't work. We also went head to head with Extreme Rules, which may have slightly hindered our attendance figures. But I've got a really good plan, because I see here disruption. Hire people to go to their shows and cause disruptions with signs and chants. I feel like this is going to work quite well. Actually, it didn't work at all, because apparently the chants were drowned out by WWE chants, which sounds actually like the least chantable word in the world. WWE, WWE, WWE. Congratulations, though, to Road Dogg, who has been called up according to this, so we'll see if that young stud can fulfill his potential. Next, we have Summer Slap. Again, I can't say SummerSlam for copyright reasons, but it's like SummerSlam, except way better. We start with Braun Strowman versus Buddy Murphy. Buddy Murphy absolutely smashes him. Then the Authors of Pain take on Primo and a very hungover Epico. Except Razor is injured, so we're going to have to go with Finlay instead, because Finlay was also furloughed during the pandemic, so we're allowed to use him. That's for the tag titles, and Akam and Finlay are the new champions. Then Chelsea Green comes out, and she grabs the mic and she says, fuck the Czech Republic, bunch of nerds. Nedved's hair was stupid, and the fact that Petr Cech's surname was also his nationality was really, really dumb. And then Buddy Murphy storms out to the ring and he says, fuck off, Chelsea. Like, Czech Republic are class. Petr Cech's hat was really cool. Have you ever even been to Prague? Well, actually, yeah, don't care, didn't ask. Then he challenges her to a flag match at our next show, which is, of course, Heck in a Check. Like Hell in a Cell, but we had to change it a little bit just for copyright reasons. The main event is a flag match where he will be representing the Czech Republic, she'll be representing Canada, and it'll be a battle of the different countries. Then Aleister Black is backstage, and he's like, knock on this door and we will fight. And we will fight when you knock on this door. Then we go to the locker room there, and Bo Dallas is with Braun Strowman, and he says, look, I know you're sad that you lost, but perhaps, you know, a teammate, a guiding hand, and a bit of Bo Leaf to get straight back to wearing gold in a wrestling company. Then the main event is Chris Hero versus Samoa Joe. An amazing main event, exactly what the fans of SummerSlam want to see. But out of nowhere, Kalisto cashes in. He runs to the ring, wipes out Chris Hero, wipes out Samoa Joe, wins the match. But there is no championship yet, so he actually just cashed in during a non-title match and wasted his briefcase. So in the tag match, I had to make Jessamine Duke the road agent, but she wasn't very good. Primo and Epico had some really good chemistry though, so there you go. Primo did fuck up his knee, but besides that, it all went pretty well. As did the rest of the show, because no matter what happened, we already have one up on WWE after what they did on their show. We also caused their sponsors to pull out, so WWE are in the fucking mud. We are really on our way, nice and early, to putting them right where we want to put them. Ring of Honor are apparently releasing Martina, so that's bad. And Samoa Joe is leaving. Now, the good thing for us is they always give us 28 days notice before they leave, but he's finished. Perhaps he just didn't understand my vision, but that's honestly his loss more than it is mine. However, the game is fucked because I've just checked and I don't really understand how we're supposed to continue beyond this point. No, I take that back. The game is actually proper fucked now. Now I really don't know what the point is in continuing this. Braun Strowman is also leaving, which is kind of bad, but not the worst news we've heard so far. Now it's time for Heck in a Check, and we're opening it with Akam and Finlay defending their tag titles against Bo Dallas and Braun Strowman. They win. Then Braun Strowman turns around and beats the shit out of Bo Dallas, only for Curtis Axel to run out and save Bo Dallas, and the B team are reunited. It feels great. Then it cuts to Aleister Black backstage, and he's like, you know, if you knock on this door now any second, we'll fight, we'll scrap it out, I'm not even messing. Then we have a big match with all the title contenders, Chris Hero, Samoa Joe, Kalisto, 40 minutes of pure scraps, and the winner is Kalisto. And then Cain Velasquez comes out and he's announced as the champion. Then in the main event, Buddy Murphy takes on Chelsea Green, except Chelsea Green is injured, so she's replaced with Epico, and when it's all said and done, Buddy Murphy manages to successfully defend the honor of the Czech Republic. Then he grabs the mic and he says, look, I have beaten an undefeated Vanessa Bourne. I smashed Braun Strowman in 5 minutes at the last pay-per-view, and now I have defended the honor of the Czech Republic. So Cain Velasquez, I am coming for that fuck WWE World Championship. Now it's time for the speech, and we're going to tell Mike Chioda that we love him, and we're going to tell Braun Strowman and Samoa Joe that they're fucking worthless, just because on the way out anyway. It's nice to get a few digs in. And Vanessa Bourne has been brought to wrestlers' court, accused of moaning about stuff all the time and basically killing the vibes. And she's been sentenced to shut up or cheer up and to buy drinks for everyone after the show. So now it's time for one of the biggest events of our calendar year. It's Clash of Champs, where all our champs will clash. First of all, the show opens with Aleister Black saying, you know, if any minute now you're going to knock on this door and we're going to fight. So knock on that door there, yeah? And that's obviously building towards his debut. And then in the main event, obviously we only have 2 sets of champions. So Akam and Finlay take on Cain Velasquez in a handicap match, and they beat him after 90 minutes of good wrestling. Some people had their issues with this show, but I think that's a really intelligent way to book it, because if you book somebody who's not a champion at Clash of Champs, it's false advertising and you might get sued. Oh, I've done it again. I've actually done this twice now where I've accidentally gone after the wrong company. But I'm now going to hit WWE with a web attack, and they're on the ropes. They are done. And Vanessa Bourne has made her return to Wrestler's Court. And it's time now for Survival Series. Like Survivor Series, except the name has changed for copyright reasons. And the reason it's a Survival Series is because Cain Velasquez has to survive the gauntlet. He is not in one singles match defending his title. He is in 5. Or at least he will be, if he can hold on to that title and survive. So, first half an hour, it's Cain Velasquez versus Kalisto. Cain Velasquez retains. The next half an hour, Cain Velasquez takes on Chris Hero and retains. The next 20 minutes, Cain Velasquez takes on Riott and retains. And then Cain Velasquez takes on the returning from injury Chelsea Green, and he retains. And then finally, Tommy End pops up on that screen and he says, "The time for waiting is over. The door has been knocked." And Cain Velasquez takes on Buddy Murphy in the main event. And Buddy Murphy looks like he's about to beat Cain Velasquez. But then just after hitting his finisher, instead of going for the pin, he goes, "You know what? I actually miss Wesley Blake. I'm going to team up with him instead. You win, Cain." And Cain Velasquez retains his title. Buddy Murphy's very unhappy with the booking, which I don't really understand, because I would have thought that'd be something he'd rather over singles gold, a nice reunion, but apparently not. Survivor Series went ahead against Survival Series, and I think it's safe to say we got the better of them in that one. We also convinced the entire world there's a cult behind WWE. Braun Strowman has agreed to deal with MLW forking out those 5-figure numbers to get Braun Strowman in. But Ruby Riott is leaving, so this is the worst day ever. Vanessa Bourne was being a jerk backstage and eventually threw a punch at Jessamine Duke. It was a bad move as she got beaten up as a result. In all fairness to Vanessa Bourne, I mean, if she's willing to take on an MMA fighter in a real fight backstage, then that makes her even cooler in my opinion. Now it's time for our version of TLC. Of course we've had to change it for copyright reasons, so it's just chairs. A really stacked show lined up for everyone here. We open with Aiden English, of all people. He actually comes to the ring and he's like, "You know what day it is?" And he starts singing and everybody's like, "No way, no way." And he's like, "Yep, it's Alexander Wolf Day. Sing with me. Alexander Wolf Day, Alexander Wolf Day, Alexander Wolf Day." It doesn't quite catch on, but Alexander Wolf takes on Selena Vega and Selena Vega wins. Then the B team reunite in a very emotional 30-minute clash with Primo and Epico. Then Akam and Finlay defend the tag titles successfully against Blake and Murphy. But after the match, who attacks? Only none other than Alexander Wolf Day. Then we cut backstage and Aleister Black is snapping. He's like, "Right, I'm not waiting for any knocks on the door. I'm instead going to knock the door down myself, and I'm entering myself in the main event tonight at Chairs." And the main event is Cain Velasquez in musical chairs. Again, you kind of need to fit it in with the theme of the show, otherwise people will go home disappointed. So, musical chairs for the title. Cain Velasquez wins. Tommy End was terrible with no script to follow. His dialogue was a mess. But it's not about what he does on the mic, it's what he does in the ring that makes him special, which in this case got us a 0. But I think now we are ready to declare official war on WWE. And we're off to a pretty bad start, I have to say. Some good news in there though that I can't argue with. Chelsea Green annoyed Vanessa Bourne by mocking her lack of popularity. But it's now time for the Royal Rumble. And yes, I'm pronouncing it slightly differently because it's spelled slightly differently for copyright reasons. This is a 2-match show, 1 hour each. Akam and Finlay defend their titles against Alexander Wolf Day in the opener successfully. They win. But after the match, who attacks them? Only none other than the B team. And that sets up a match for later on. Finally, in the main event, the Royal Rumble, the winner gets to challenge for the Fuck WWE Championship at our flagship show of the year, WrestleMania, but better. And the winner of the Royal Rumble is Cain Velasquez. He shows up, he challenges himself, and he says, "I want to fight you at WrestleMania, but better." And he says, "Okay." But little does he know, there's a spanner in the works. But we'll get to that in a bit. First of all, I want to see how the show went down. Overall, I think it's fair to say it did quite well. The Royal Rumble did alright. Kalisto's leaving, Chris Hero's leaving, Chelsea's leaving, Paul Heyman's dead, Buddy Murphy's leaving, but in the biggest news of all, Ricochet is ripped. Finlay turned up hungover. I'm not going to punish him for it. I'd actually be a bit more disappointed if he wasn't hungover. Vanessa Bourne has been brought to Wrestler's Court. Half this game has just been the roster bullying Vanessa Bourne. Now it's time for the chamber where people get eliminated, which is what it's called for copyright reasons. Again, another 2-match show, 1 hour each. The first hour is for the tag team titles. It is Akam and Finlay taking on the B team. And the winners are Akam and Finlay. But after the match, who attacks Akam and Finlay? Only none other than the Iconics. In the main event, we have our chamber where people get eliminated. And this is where the spanner was thrown in the works for Cain Velasquez, who wanted to challenge himself at WrestleMania, but better. 5 fighters will be challenging Cain Velasquez in the chamber. None of them have gotten a title shot so far. So we're spicing things up. And the winner is Vanessa Bourne. Now, they do say that the match fell apart, with no rhyme or reason for the moves. But besides that, I thought it was pretty good. No Way Jose quit, Wesley Blake quit, Lana quit, Linda and Vince got divorced and ECW2 went out of business, but besides that, I think things are going quite smoothly as we enter the final show before we put WWE out of business for good. WrestleMania, but better. And here's the card. We open with Akam and Finlay taking on the Iconics for the tag team titles, and the winners are the Iconics, new champions. Cain Velasquez tries to win his title back against Vanessa Bourne, and he wins. And then Erick Rowan fights Cain Velasquez for the belt. Erick wins, new champion. So really, really good stuff. But now, it's the moment of truth. When we began this journey several months ago, WWE were the top dog, sitting at number 1 in the world, with fuck WWE sitting all the way down in 15th. And after all these months and all these excellent shows, it's finally time to see where WWE, yeah, nothing's changed.